Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to KHCC Mobile TV. We have a great show coming up for you tonight. I know I caught you guys early, didn't I? Normally I'm on from 9 till 11, but I pulled up on you. I pulled up on you today. So listen. Today we are going to talk about Candace Owens. We are going to talk about Nia Long. We are going to talk about, let me look at my notes. Dr. Iggy. And we're going to talk about Good Times. Have you guys seen Good Times? Like they revamped the show. They brought it back as kind of like this animated situation. So I don't know if you've seen it or not, but that is what we are going to get into today. So welcome to KHCC Mobile TV, Royal Family. We're about to get into it. So now you know this is the place where you can come and you get to hear some good Black entertainment, a lot of fun, trending stories, and things like that. But the difference is in this space, it's kind of about, well, it's all about Black people, what we got going on, uplifting us. And we don't call it the royal family for nothing. Like, this is the place to be. Family, very family friendly, family oriented. And we talk about real things, real subjects, and all of that. So I'm glad you joined me. It's Friday, right? It's Friday. Friday! Get into this t-shirt. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to get into the show, talk about what we're going to talk about. So the first thing is, you guys remember Good Times, right? Hanging in a diamond, good, ain't you lucky we got them, good time. Listen, I can sing, don't tell me nothing. So you all remember Good Times. It was a big show back in the day, right? We all came home to watch some Good Times. We want to see JJ, we want to see Thelma, we want to see Michael, James, Evans, Florida, Valona, Penny. Remember Janet Jackson played Penny? Anyway, we wanted to get home and watch us some Good Times. But now, nobody wants to watch Good Times. When they re-aired the show, they revamped it. People were like, no, we don't want to see this. So, you know, I haven't watched it, so I don't know. But I do know what the reviews are saying. And I always tell you about credible sources, right? So you kind of have to look at that. But we're going to watch a small clip from Good Times because they aren't lucky anymore. Listen, one person said Florida would not like this. Remember, Florida was the mom, right? And she was married to James, and they had 3 children, JJ, the older brother, Michael, the younger brother, and Thelma was in between the 2 brothers. So people are saying that they don't like the show, that it doesn't represent, it's not a true representation of Blackness and what we want to see. For me, Good Times is like hip hop. Like when hip hop first started, it was like putting out a message about the struggle of Black people and what all of that meant. And then hip hop turned to like some degrading nonsense. Okay. Instead of being like a message, it turned into like a visual downplay of what it means to be an intellectual Black person. Okay. So Good Times was kind of like that. It told the story of the struggle of Black people. James had a hard time finding a job. The neighborhood they lived in was not safe. So it gave us all of that backdrop, and it brought it to the forefront. Well, we don't really need hood shows anymore. We understand what a degree is. We understand that we are no longer victims. And so I think the show came out at a time when we're like, nah, we're not on that no more. We doing something else. Like, yeah, we're not interested in that. It doesn't resonate with me. And I'm glad to see us protest, because I don't know if you signed a petition, but I signed a petition. I signed a petition to ban the new good times. Okay. That's what I did. So I don't know if you did that, but I did. And so let's take a little snippet, a little look at what good times, what it used to be. So we're going to take a look at good times right quick. The old show.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here to join in holy matrimony Keith Albert Anderson and Thelma Ann Evans. Now the bride and groom wish to share with you their own personal vows. Thelma?
I take this vow to share with you that which God shall let me share, to give to you that which God shall let me give, to be one with you, for I love you, and ask only that this love shall sustain itself for the rest of our lives.
I take this vow to love you as I do now and will forever.
Oh, my leg! Oh, don't nobody move it. Don't move it. Ah! Oh my God! Somebody call an ambulance.
Is it that bad?
It looks pretty bad. Oh no!
JJ, my man, you in trouble.
Okay, so we all know what happened, right? They were living in the hood. Keith got a deal with like the NFL or something like that, and so their whole lives supposedly turned around because Keith is about to marry Thelma, and they're about to get out of the hood, honey. It's the traditional hood story, right? And Keith falls at the wedding, breaks his leg, doesn't get the contract, so they never move out of the hood. And that's like the story that we're not trying to hear that, because we don't have to play football to get out of the hood. We can be doctors. We can be lawyers. We can be now influencers. We can be biochemists. We can be marine biologists. We can have our own tech firm. We can grow our own food. We can become farmers. Like we're out of that bag. We're out of that box. And so these types of shows no longer qualify as the defining moment for what Blackness is. Like, we have evolved over time. And so that's what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are like, look, this doesn't represent me. It doesn't represent my people. It doesn't represent what I want my children to see. And that's the part that I love the most about signing the petition. It's like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me we are here coming together because we want to send a message and say, look, this does not represent us. This does not represent me as a Black person. I'm not even going to lie. This is the first time. This is not the first time. I'll be lying because I did the whole Black Lives Matter and all that. But what I'm saying is that I'm proud to see us making a statement and saying we do not approve. So Netflix is facing backlash because they have released this ghetto, good times situation, and we're not having it. So Netflix faces backlash after dropping the trailer for its animated remake of Good Times, a beloved 70s comedy classic. Now, this is on somebody's Facebook page, Hollywood Melanin. It says there is a petition at change.org. The petition looks to collect enough signatures to demand the streamer cancel the series altogether It reads, the animated reboot produced by Steph Curry, Norman Lear, and Seth MacFarlane on Netflix takes the most debased stereotypes of Black people and exploits them as the generation evolution of our beloved Evans family from the original show. How do you feel about the reboot, they asked? Now, for me, like I just said, I have not watched it. I have not. I didn't even entertain the what is it, the trailer, because I knew I wasn't interested. I'm not interested in anything that represents us in this way. Anything hood, anything ghetto, I don't want to see it. I don't even have to look at the show to know I do not want to see it. So it says this person said lifestyle of Sincera, I don't know who that is, says, I have signed the petition in support of a push to strongly urge Netflix to halt the airing, blah, 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 blah. It depicts racism depictions. It said it openly employs egregious racial stereotypes and depicts African Americans in a derogatory manner, reminiscent of the modern day minstrel show. It says that number 2, it insults Black Americans. The portrayal is not only devoid of humor, but also insulting to the legacy of the original series and the dignity of every Black American. Number 3, okay, was misrepresentation of the original series. While the original Good Times intelligently tackle political and cultural themes in a family-friendly setting, the animated series deviates from this, opting for offensive caricatures. Now, and you can sign the petition, cancel Netflix. Good Time is the bit.ly link, but you can go to change.org as well, and you can, sign the petition there as well. I signed the petition because I'm real big on sending the message to the public that I do not agree with certain things. And you'll hear me vocalize this on my channel, that I do not agree. And this is the petition. You can go to change.org, demand Netflix change the petition. Cancel the show. Give me just a second. I'll get you over there. Let me see. Yeah. So that's the petition. It's demand Netflix cancel the animated reboot of Good Times. And kind of breaks it all down. You can scan this QR code, and I believe it takes you there. But yeah, right now, 1,725 signatures. Wow. So it just goes to show you that it's always a remnant. It's always a group of us who are willing to champion the conversation of what is good and what is right for us. Regardless to, some of us may get it wrong. Some of us may have thought, well, this is a fantastic idea. Who doesn't love Good Times, right? It served its purpose in its time. If they were going to bring it back, they should have brought it back where Keith and Thelma, where he finally started playing football. Michael graduated from college. Not all this old ghetto, big earrings and all the, no, we're not doing that. We're not. We're past that. We are past that age. We are past that time. And that's what a lot of people need to understand, even us. We are past that time. We want new ideas. We want a new reality. We've evolved. We've come to a place where we just want something. We want something bigger, better, different that represents us. And I think that's just like the overall arching message. So let's get into this next. Candace Owens. So Candace Owens is, I'm not going to say she's not my favorite person, because I like Candace Owens, but I don't, because I don't like the way she represents. I like what she says. I like her dialogue. I like her consciousness, right? She's very conscious and aware of what's going on. And of course, I'm Kathleen, you're a conscious coach. So I'm attracted to her dialogue for that reason, right? Her commentary and all of that. I like it because she's very conscious and she tries to make us aware of where we actually are in classism and racism in American society. She has a very good view of that. However, her view is somewhat distorted in terms of how do you communicate your information with your core audience. And I guess she's not really off, because her core audience is probably middle upper class white people and Black people is probably more her audience, where my audience is different. So she probably is a voice for those who are a part of her immediate audience, I could say. So I don't know really where to go with Candace Owens, except for I wish she would learn how to relate more to her people, which is funny because they had her on the Breakfast Club and they were like, God is good. And she was like, she said something like, and he blesses us all. And people were like, wait a minute, Candace, is God is good all the time? What Dion Cole say? All the time. Won't he do it? Won't he will? But that's not the type of Blackness I'm talking about. I'm really talking about Candace Owens, you know, bringing the message to us and not about us. I think that kind of sums up what I'm talking about. Bring the message to us and not about us. So, long story short, Candace Owens was recently fired. Okay. So she was recently let go of, I think she was with the Daily Mail or something like that. And so she was fired and she was like, oh, thank God for my freedom, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, girl, who was holding you? Because because nobody was holding you, baby. So but she was like, thank God for freedom. I'm glad to be, you know, free, and whatever that meant to her. I'm sure whatever it meant to her, but that was her language that she used. And of course, we all know who Candace Owens is. So she got fired, and then from the Daily Wire. I said the Daily News, it's the Daily Wire. So she was fired from the Daily Wire, and then she made an appointment on the Breakfast Club, where, you know, she's saying somewhere, I think it was on the Breakfast Club too, that she is finally free. This is an intelligent Black woman, of course. She's educated. She's had her own experiences. And I respect her. Like, I do respect her. Okay. So this little commenter here, the author says the Daily Wire, the right-wing media outlet co-founded by Ben Shapiro, said Friday that it had severed its ties with Candace Owens, the far-right commentator who has ignited a torrent of backlash in recent months for her repeated embrace of anti-Semitic rhetoric. So, you know, I don't dislike Candace Owens. I just wish she would navigate her conversations a little differently. However, I do agree with her in terms of the message, where she's having this interview with Joe Budden, of all people, where she makes a comment about Sexy Red. Now, remember, we just talked about Good Times and how important it is for us to have visuals that represent us. Now, when it comes to us having visuals that represent us, it is critically important that we understand how representation impacts us. What we see, what we hear, what is, you know, troped around in our faces makes a big difference. Thoughts, right? Thoughts are injected into our mind every day based on the content that we consume. So I'm going to have to agree with Candace Owens, and let's just watch this interview. Why don't I have sound? Do I have the sound?
That is awesome. I think it's very creative.
When her partner's face was in her butt, you thought that was that part creepy?
Hold on.
I talk about Sexy Red on the show.
Oh, wait a minute.
I talk about Sexy Red on the show. So I will ask you. I will ask you about her baby shower. Why don't you give us your opinion?
I think anytime you celebrate a bundle of joy, that is awesome. I think it's very creative.
When her partner's face was in her butt, you thought that was that part creative?
I didn't see that.
Yeah. So she bent over and he put his face in between her butt cheeks to the baby shower. So I just would like you to respond to that.
Well, I'm with eating ass, but maybe I wouldn't do that at the
baby shower. Okay.
I probably wouldn't do it there, but freedom of choice.
Cool.
Freedom of choice.
Cool.
She's been losing me lately.
So I did a segment on my show to show people how this stuff works. You know, everywhere you're seeing them talking about her. Does that feel artificial to you at all? So I was interested. I was like, who signed her? Because if you're a person and you're walking around and you can sign anybody and you got the money to sign them, you're gonna tell me that's what stood out? Or is that intentional?
It's intentional, of course.
Of course it's intentional.
Of course it is.
And that's what I'm trying to make Black America aware of, right?
Now, see, this is the talking point. This is the talking point right there that I do love about Candace Owens. She is consciously aware and she's constantly sharing with us, the people in general, the dynamic, right? The tier of how things happen, right? The layers in which systemic racism is designed. It's the blueprint of America, okay? For the Black people, let's just give them all the visuals we can and promote all the visuals we can of things that are, I call it, low-hanging fruit. So what's the low-hanging fruit? Anything that's dysfunctional and disruptive to our true culture, race, and identity. Anything that's contradictory to our true race, ethnicity, all of those things that come in to disrupt what would be our norm. Open the floodgates with foolishness, okay? When it comes to Black people, no way would Taylor Swift ever be caught up doing the things that we see Sexy Red, Suki Hana, and Cardi B doing. Now, let me tell you something. As human beings, as ladies, as women, I don't know any of them. How do I know them? I know them because they are performers. I know them because they have the platform. So I can only know them by what I see. I'm not judging them by who they are as an individual person on a personal level. I'm saying what you put out there as an artist is very destructive to the community from which you come. And someone has to take accountability for that. And someone has to be a voice for reason. And all I'm going to say to you guys is make sure you're having a conversation with your children and letting them know this is not acceptable. These are not our role models. That's your job. Okay? It is your job. Times have changed, but they have not. How we do things has changed. There's always been nudity. There's always been porn. There's always been soft porn. There's always been sexually explicit content. There's always been people that are more sexually free than others. Like all this stuff has always existed. What has not always existed is social media. What has not always existed is access. We've not always had access, but now we have 24/7 access. Not only do we have access, our children have access. That is the major difference. Okay. If Cardi B was grown and making albums and Megan Thee Stallion and Sexy Red and KBRS, the one who wrote that song about throats, babies, and all that stuff, Lil Durk and whoever, Lil Baby, whoever making all these crazy songs, if they were doing that back in the 1960s and 50s and 70s, who would have access to that? Only grown folk, unless you stole it out of your older brother's drawer or out of your parents' room, but you didn't have it at the ready. And so someone has to take accountability. Someone has to blow the whistle and say, the reason why you're seeing this content is because it's being intentionally placed out in front of you. And you as a consumer needs to understand it, and you need to be able to explain it to your children. There is a systemic approach.
That is intentional. Somebody's making that decision. That means somebody turned down a Chris Brown, turned down a Michael Jackson, turned down a Lauryn Hill, and said, that's the one I want to sign and make her bigger. And when I looked into it, who did that, boy, was I shocked to learn that it was a combo team. But one of the men was a black man who certainly doesn't listen to Sexy Red. He's married to Stephanie Shepard, who's Kim Kardashian's former assistant. I'm interested in who owns companies. That's the first thing I always want to look up. Who owns it? Because the need to evolve now, okay? Because now you have a platform and you put out a song like WAP. And when I read the lyrics, the full lyrics, not the what's playing on the radio.
So, you know, she's gonna go on and on and on and on, and she's not wrong. Like, that's the thing. She is not, nothing she said is wrong. It's absolutely right. She's hitting the nail on the head. Like, you got to get behind the scenes and understand who owns these platforms. You got to go behind the scenes and understand who runs the world, who puts this stuff in front of us. But then you also have to know and understand how to get ahead of it. So have these conversations with your children, have these conversations with the young people, have these conversations in the college classrooms, in the high schools, in junior high, in elementary, at the preschool. Hey, these are not our role models. These are not people I want you to follow. And then have some people in line that you do want them to follow and look up to, including yourself. Sometimes we play ourselves weak as parents, as teachers. Okay, we don't lift ourselves up enough. But that's something that we got to do. We have to start saying, we're saying no to this, but we're saying yes to this. So we're saying no to Sexy Red and her content, but we're saying yes to some more positive content and artists, whoever they may be. I know Sizzle is out there, but the content I heard from her is pretty good. But they're whoever the other people are out there. It's this black rapper gospel girl that's pretty good. I mean, there's tons of content out there. Come on now. Y'all can find content. All this TikTok and Instagram we have going on and YouTube, you can ask your children who are the positive rappers and content creators out there. They'll tell you, they'll let you know who it is. So stop playing. Stop playing. Speaking of positive images and positive role models, I found somebody that I really, really like. Have y'all seen Dr. Iggy? Making Black Doctors social media friendly. I love Dr. Iggy. And I hope it's Iggy, whatever it is. I like this guy. Show. Oh, and let me tell you something. I agree with Candace Owen before I move on. When Cardi B was on Love and Hip Hop, I really like Cardi B. I thought she was hilarious. She had all these little voices that she would do and little characters and little sayings that she had. And I thought she was hilarious. She was trying to make her music career pop and all of that. I thoroughly enjoyed Cardi B. So this is not a personal attack at all. This is about content and responsibility for content. That's all it's about. So back to Dr. Iggy. Love his content. Love it, love it, love it. We're going to watch some of his content because what else we going to do today? Okay. We're going to watch some of this content. So let's get into Dr. Iggy. He's on Facebook. So follow him on Facebook. Get into it.
Wait, the commercial poverty.
Got him over here.
Wait. I was patient, yeah.
I was patient. Now I can scream that we made it. Now everywhere I go, they say congratulations. I was patient, yeah.
I said, Willie, why?
I was patient, yeah. Oh, I was patient. Now I can scream that we made it. Now everywhere I go, they say congratulations. I was patient, yeah.
So that's Dr. Iggy. He's on Facebook. Let me see if we can show a little bit more. I got more Dr. Iggy. Give me just a second. I love Dr. Iggy. It's just my thing. Okay, what's what we got?
Stupid.
Crazy. Dangerous. Dumb.
Stupid.
Crazy. Dangerous. Dumb.
You can find Dr. Iggy on Facebook, and I think he's on TikTok or wherever he's at. But you can find Dr. Iggy. All you have to do is look him up like you do everybody else. And you can find Dr. Iggy online. Again, he's one of my faves. So make sure you jump on board and find you some Dr. Iggy. And enjoy yourself watching some Dr. Iggy. That's all I'm saying. Watch this. Hold up. I got one more. Y'all do me a favor. Follow Dr. Iggy on all social media. He is so much fun. Probably one of the funnest doctors I've seen on Facebook and TikTok and all of that. I just love his content. Always uplifting doctors, Black doctors, the medical field. Something we rarely ever see. So follow Dr. Iggy. Okay. All right. So we're going to take a little commercial break here. And this is why I introduced you a lot into what I do. So I am a self-published author. We do have an event coming up on April the 27th where I will teach you how to self-publish a book. I will introduce you to some of the steps to self-publish a book. I do have a book that's available in the National Library database. You can literally go to your local library and you can literally get one of my books. That's one right there. And that purple one way over there in the corner is another one. So those are my books, but you can get them at the library or you can order them online through Amazon.com. I have the Legacy Workbook, Things I Wish I Knew. So you think you want to have sex and hurt people, help people. So you can go online to Amazon and you can find any of my books. In terms of what you see in the white here, if you are interested in a life policy, just text GW for generational wealth to 314-472-8127. I will give you a quote for a life policy in about 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes of your time can help your family be prepared for what may be and what will be, if it was to be, the worst day of their life. You know, it's horrible when a loved one passes away. What complicates that even more is when you are not able to take care of their end of life preparation. So listen, be prepared. Text GW to 314-472-8127 and I will get you a quote for a life policy. If you like this content and you want to support me in any kind of way, hit the Cash App at KV Product. That's KV Product on Cash App. And you can don't donate to that number I just gave you because that's a second line. So anyway, other than that, you can reach out to me via Facebook or any social media, and I will help you find out where you can make your donations if you don't want to cash out me. So anyway, that's our little commercial break. I will post the link to, let me see if I can find. I'm not going to try to find it right now because that'll be take me all off course. But April the 27th is the day of the free workshop, self-publishing workshop, Facebook Live from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Just 2 hours only. It may not even last that long, but hey, we will be having a conversation about self-publishing, how to get started, and all of that good stuff. So I am looking forward to seeing you guys. What else you got going on? Join me on April 27th. Okay. All right. So I'm going to click that off. So the next thing we're going to talk about, and give yourself a hand for being here. The next thing we're going to talk about is, have you seen the clip of Nia Long? So apparently, it's not my first time seeing it. It came out like 4 years ago or something. This is not my first time seeing this clip, but it's new. It's circulating on the internet, so we might as well talk about it. Okay, and it's very important. It's Nia Long, was her mother wrong? Free or furious? Okay, that's what we're talking about, because Nia Long, as you know, is most famous. I can't say most famous. Love Jones was one of my favorite shows. I can say that. Love Jones was absolutely one of my favorite movies that she was in with Lorenz Tate. And then she was in The Best Man. So you remember The Best Man with Morris Chestnut, Taye Diggs, not Cuba Gooding Jr. What's the Terrence Howard? All of those great actors. She played like the college sweetheart type, and then later on she was engaged to like this white guy in the second one, and all that good stuff. But Nia Long is that actress, right? She that girl. 100%. She that girl. So y'all know Nia Long. Let's see if it's gonna let me do this correctly. What we got here? So nope, it didn't let me do it correctly. But Nia Long is that chick you can see here. Yeah, it kept it in there, so that's good. But remember her in Love Jones with Lorenz Tate? That movie was fire. That soundtrack, say less, because that soundtrack was everything. So recently she was the last thing we knew about her was, she was in a relationship with this guy, Emo Udoka, whatever. They broke up, whatever. Found out he was cheating on her. And recent rumor says that she's talking to Tia, the twin, Maury's ex-husband. We ain't gonna even get into that because that ain't none of our business. However, Nia Long is out here sharing a message. Let me see if I can pull it up, because where is that video? Is this it? Is this my video? Where's my video? I gotta scroll down and see, can I find it? That's got to be it up there, because that's not it. Should be in order. Let's see if this is it. Yep, that's it. Hold on one second. Let me get the right video up. So Nia Long is sharing that her mom let her, I'll let you see it. What happened?
I would never ever let I mean that in a good way. Like, she was an artist. She was like, well, if that's who you love, baby. And he was so good to me and kind and like, you right? And he did it the right way. He went to her. He was from Oman. He went to her and he said,
okay, so in this video, Nia Long is talking to them about her boyfriend, and apparently her high school boyfriend was 30 years old, which means she was either 17 or 18. God forbid she was 16. Okay. So let's just roll it up to 17 or 18. She's in high school and her boyfriend is 30. So she's explaining to them that he was good. He came to her mama first. She prefaces that by saying her mom was like a free spirit, like one of those boho type women, whatever, all into the earth, I guess, whatever, I don't know. But she's saying he was 30 and she was in high school. She said he did it the right way. He asked my mom, and then she's like, he was good to me. It's just like so cringe. With everything we know now, we're gonna say he groomed her. We're gonna say it's giving pedophile. We're gonna say it's definitely giving predator. But this is a grown woman and she's telling it however she's telling it. This is her life.
Said, I love your daughter and I want to date your daughter, and he asked permission. Look at your face. You're like, that ain't happening with my baby. High school, like, I wasn't the girl that ever went to prom. Like, my boyfriend was 30 when I was in high school. I know my mother was crazy, but you know what? I would never ever let I mean that in a good way. Like, she was an artist. She was like, well, if that's who you love, baby. And he was so good to me and kind and like, right? And he did it the right way. He went to her. He was from Oman. He went to her and he said, I love your daughter and I want to date your daughter. And he asked permission. Look at your face. You're like,
listen, you can find this content out there on the internet streets. All I can tell you is that the crowd was like, no, ma'am. Free or furious? Which one would you be? Would you be free? Would you consider that to be freedom? Or would you be furious? I can tell you right now, if a 30-year-old man show up to my house for my 18-year-old daughter, or a 30-year-old woman show up to my house for my 18-year-old son, it's gonna be smoke. It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. Do not. Just like Drea with that 22-year-old young boy that plays football, ma'am, it's gonna be a problem. You're gonna have to abort mission because that's a negative. So what are your thoughts though? What are your thoughts? How would you even position yourself to have that conversation with your said child if they show up with an older man or an older woman? Okay. All right now. That's y'all business. That is y'all's business. All right. The last thing we're going to talk about on the show today is Black dads, husband, and men making our day right. Nothing makes me smile more than the daddy-child relationship. Listen, I be all into it. Like, let these people be happy. Well, just let them be happy. Why don't you? I be all into it. So let's look at some dads.
What'd you say? What'd you say? You said that, Daddy? What'd you say? What'd you say? You said that, Daddy?
Listen, she got him all in his feelings. He is like, my baby, say less. She's like, dad, which we all know. Most of them say dad first. Okay, dads. Okay. But we're going to let y'all win. We are going to let you guys win. We want you to have it. Go ahead on and take it.
I'm a father of twin boys. Of course I'm late on this trend. I'm a father of 2 twin boys. Of course I'm dodging pee every day. I'm a father of twin boys. Of course I know the difference between my kids. Right, Trey? I mean, Lecrae? I'm a father of twin boys. Of course I'm on top of everything. Get down. Look at this. Get down. I'm a father of twin boys. Of course I'm late.
Don't you just love seeing them with their babies? I get so excited. So this is one of the last ones we're going to see tonight before we close out the show. So enjoy this video. Let me get it up for you. Oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong one. This is so fun. Like, this is a fun one.
Yeah, I lost a nail.
Is this your mommy?
Well, sort of. I call her mommy.
Oh, no.
I'd never be one to question the quality of your work.
Because you're not being careful.
Would you?
Because you're not being careful. So that's
Okay.
not my fault.
Are we going to get this one fixed, yes or no?
That would be extra. You have to take care of yourself.
Oh, girl, I'm trying.
Those nails.
Just do your best, Mother.
Oh my God, we gonna watch that again because that was hilarious.
What's your inspiration?
You can do this?
How was your day today?
Oh, my goodness, it was hectic. Yeah, I lost a nail.
Is this your mommy?
Well, sort of. I call her mommy.
Oh, no.
I'd never be one to question the quality of your work.
Because you're not being careful.
Would you?
Because you're not being careful. So that's
Okay.
not my fault.
Are we going to get this one fixed, yes or no?
That would be extra. You have to take care of yourself.
Oh, girl, I'm trying.
Just do your best, Mother.
That is hilarious. On that note, we are going to end this live. Thank you for joining us today. We had a lot of fun with you guys. And listen, make sure you share this video. Make sure you like and share this content. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. And make sure you send this information to a friend. Share with a friend, share with your family members, get them to subscribe, get them to like my Facebook page. And we're going to see you guys the next time. Have an amazing weekend, Royal.